when we give over everything to the Holy Spirit, we say to the Holy Spirit, it's your world, your dream to use, you know the way, and I'm not going to try to lead anymore, I'm going to follow. I'm not going to insist, oh I'll follow you, but I have to have these conditions, I must have this, this and that. And I know in my life, like, that was part of, I think, Carolina and I came across each other over the internet, and yet, you know, we had emailed a bit and so on and so forth, but then at one point she had a dream, a teaching dream, where the David character showed up, not just in one brief dream, but like all night long doing teaching sessions in a dream. And then when she awoke, it was kind of like, oh, instead of trying to bring David to Venezuela, I'm supposed to go where David is. She found out I was in the neighboring country of Colombia, and took this long, what was it, like a 13-hour...
Oh, 48 hour.
48-hour bus trip through the mountains of Venezuela and Colombia to come and be with me. And again, the way we were used was, when we showed up together, both of us very devoted Course in Miracles teachers, but me with my English and her with her Spanish and English, bilingual, that what serves the whole was David and Carolina in Colombia. And it was, actually we had another one, a guy in a wheelchair showed up, Frederick, and the Holy Spirit was ripping through me, and Frederick would be over there, you know, translating, and then they were like a tag team. Then he would go, then over to pass it to Carolina, back to Frederick, back to Carolina. When you start to realize what serves the whole, and you let that be your guiding light, it transforms your relationships. You know, who shows up with you to do the translating, as a travel companion, as a partner, the only thing that satisfies that criteria of holy relationship is what serves the whole. Not all these preferences, you know, oh, I want a partner like this and this and this and this, you know, all those preferences. And you know, I found in my life, usually, you know, I would think, oh, I would love to have this, 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 and then usually what comes is like, here we go again, more dismantling. This is the kind of job I would like, Holy Spirit, my ideal job, I would like da 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 da, and then, what? You can't be serious. Okay. And then you go through another dismantling, and another one, and another one. That's what we were saying today. Christian was saying, you know, he said in many ways that Cecilia and I are kind of the odd couple, like the old thing. We really are a very odd couple, and yet that odd couple is used for the dismantling. Just like with Helen and Bill, they weren't really similar in a lot of ways. They were actually very different and opposite in a lot of ways, and the Holy Spirit used that dynamic. In the context of dismantling, like the Buddhist had it right, you know, the Buddhists say empty your mind of everything that you think, you know, and the Course echoes that. And so, as long as you see that it's kind of an emptying or subtracting, and it's just like Caroline said, you have to find the opposing thought. But in the end, any concept you hold about yourself is going to be an opposing thought to spirit, which is beyond concepts. Except for forgiveness. Forgiveness is the only all-inclusive concept, you might say. There's no forgiveness in heaven, but it's literally given by the Holy Spirit, saying you can share this with all your brothers and sisters, literally as a perspective. So once you realize that, then it's like, I mean, that's why when people say to me, did you hear what they believe in? And I'm like, I'm not into what people believe in. I know that all beliefs are part of the ego domain, so people can, you know, they could say the way to God is the purple pyramid. I'm like, hey, come here. You know, it's like there's no sense of trying to debate a belief or, you know, debate a technique or whatever, because, you know, you're in focus and in purpose. Also, too, though, the clearer you get and the more empty you are, then, you know, this idea it's all about the joining and connecting. But if people say, oh, there's this new teacher in town with this new technique, or this new thing and this and this and this, your life gets so simple because when you get very clear, it's like, you know, it's not like you have to debate what to do. It's almost like you're more in autopilot,
Yeah.
just in the flow of it, so it gets easier and easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
In terms of this world, you know, when we'll say St. Francis said, "Make me an instrument, you know, of your peace," he was just saying, let my worldly experience, my body and everything be used as an instrument for healing. And forgiveness is equated with healing. And you might say love it just is, so it's just a state of mind that you can either be aware of or not aware of. And opening to the love, Jesus says in the Course, if you achieve the faintest glimmering of what love is today, you've advanced distance beyond measure and in time beyond the count of years. He also says the Course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is far beyond what can be taught. It does aim at removing the obstacles to the awareness of love's presence. So once you start to realize that love is just a state of mind, then you can be pretty humble and start off with, I don't know love. And as you're working on this humility and this humbleness of not knowing, of emptying your mind and saying, oh, I really don't know. If it's a constant state, I guess, I don't know what it is, then it seems to move in and through you, almost like a rinse cycle, washing your mind of everything else, and just, you know, you become absorbed in it, and you can then identify as it. And you don't have to worry about the words. You know, Jesus does say that he says, it's harder for you to say I love you. It's easier for you to say I hate you than I love you. That's always an interesting thing to read in A Course in Miracles. But he's just saying that that's because of the conditioning. But the more, you know, with all of us here, I just see lots of smiles and laughter and hugs and, you know, just lots of just spontaneous affection. You can see it happening, and even the I love you is coming out, and you can feel that it just spills out. Like when I was just on the mainland, Felix, you know, when I was right at the airport and I was just getting ready to, you know, go on the plane and go through security, he just looked at me and we just had a big hug, and he just looked at me and he said, I love you. And it starts to become more natural, it just kind of spills out. It's not like you're premeditating it or trying to even use it as a mantra or anything, it just starts spilling out, and it's fun. And it's like, oh yes. So you know it's doing its thing.